Hello friends, my name is Christopher and today we are building this beautiful, massive playhouse. I'm super proud of this project. It's for my girls and I've always wanted to build a playset and it just turned out so well. I really hope you like what you see, but it's so big I can't really get it properly framed. So here's one shot of it. Here's another kind of angle. And here we are looking straight on all the way back across our yard. I think we stayed pretty true to form to that design that we came up with when we were drawing it. It took 4 days to build, a little bit longer than I was expecting. The first 2 days I was contending with rain, so that slowed things down. On day 3 I ended up spraying it and I wanted to make sure it had effectively a whole day to cure. When you're doing deck stain you don't want to rush that, you know. And then the last day was effectively just putting on all of the great accessories that I got. So let's get on with the build! Actually, before we get going with the build, let's say thank you to Fleet Farm, because if it weren't for them, I probably wouldn't have built it this summer or as well as I did. So thank you, Fleet Farm, for sponsoring this build. Hey, here we are, finally at the start of this great big build. To begin, I'm going to use this 12-foot board, which will be for the swings, to start laying out things from the tree to its end point. Then I'm going to mark where these 4 posts are going to go, dig some great big holes for them, and then we'll start assembling. So here's to the B-roll and some music. Okay guys, I know I probably just said that I was going to dig all 4 of these holes and then monkey with these, but I know myself better than that, and I make a lot of tiny incremental mistakes that add up over the course of time. So instead, I'm going to get this one in, make it nice and plumb, attach it to the tree, put this one in, and attach them this way. I got a bar at the 5 foot and a bar along the ground. I can already hear the haters in the comments telling me that I'm putting these in the ground the wrong way. So let's talk about that. So here's the deal. There are a lot of ways to do everything, right? For my code, I can't have a permanent structure as close to the fence as I'm putting it, but I can have a non-permanent structure, which means technically something that you could pick up and remove. So if I put these 4x4 posts in concrete, and so they'll never move, I'd have to be cutting them off when it's time for this, you know, to come to an end when the girls are grown up. And then it's technically a permanent structure. I'm just not going to deal with that. So this will be perfectly rigid. It's going to have enough weight, it's going to have enough support that it's not going to be rocking or turning or tipping, anything like that. And really, I could build this without putting any of these posts in the ground. I'm just doing it because I think it's going to provide a little bit more stability, especially as I'm making the frame. Could I dig the hole even deeper and put these on 10 inches of gravel? Of course I could. And then I could backfill it with sand, and then I could backfill it with dirt, all that jazz. You can go as in-depth as you want for the situation that you want. And if you're on a big property where you don't have these rules to abide by, I highly recommend it. I think in an ideal situation, I would use some Quikrete and 24 inches, put this in the ground 24 inches, and then let it set overnight before I move forward. But that's just not the circumstances that I'm working under. So leave your hater comment, I guess, or your understanding comment, but that's how I'm gonna move forward with this project. Now you know. hello down there. I can hear you wondering what the heck I'm anchoring these into the tree with. Well, since these are just for toddlers and small children, you know, up until the age of probably 10 or so, maybe 13, I'm right now using 6-inch leg screws in the tree and in this 4x4 post. It's also a relatively temporary measure because I'm hoping in the future to maybe build something around this tree, like a kind of deck, in case I can expand over this particular property line in the future. And if that's the case, I'll actually put a tree bolt in here which mounts beams here, and I can build a proper subfloor which will replace this beam. So the tree will grow around these, you know, on the inside of it. I'm not too worried about damaging the tree. And it will definitely bear the weight and any kind of rocking and torsion, all that jazz. And they'll be relatively easy to replace when the time comes. This mark right here is 5 feet. That's going to be the top of the platform because that's where the slide is supposed to start. So I'm basing this whole thing off of the height of the slide. This is 6 feet. We want 6 feet from this end to the outside here. We're going to effectively frame these 4x4s on the inside of the frames that we're going to be building, which means the 12-foot boards will come out past the end right here. Anyways, I'm going to screw this one in, just one screw now, put my level up, find wherever this is perfectly level, and then that's where I'm going to anchor it in the back. So if you just put one screw in, you can kind of pivot it, just like we did with this big post up here for the swing. Look at that. We're right in the middle of the bubble there, and check this out. It's perfectly flush at the end. That means we did it right. Well, it's been raining for about a solid 22 hours. So here we are on day 2 of the build, and I'm beginning this day by cutting all of my 2x4s to either 6 feet or 12 feet, depending on what I need them for. And I'm just using the jigsaw here. You can either call it a limited tools project, or you can say I'm too lazy to bring the chop saw off and run power out here. Whatever works for you. Alright, it's bare bones, but the frame is up. Yes, very exciting. This part took a little bit of time because you want to make sure that your posts are nice and vertical, you know, and your cross beams are as level and flat as they can be. So a lot of reference checking, and I'm pretty pleased with it right now. Next steps, I'm going to go along and mark every 20 inches for a joist across there, just because of the amount of lumber that I have. So it's going to be 20, and then it's going to be about 24 inches on this side, thinking maybe I'll want to include a trapdoor sometime in the future, make it a couple feet wide for kids to go through. Just a thought. Easy math that way too. And once I get that done, we can work on the floorboards. It's another day, day 3 here, and it feels like fall. 54 degrees, in fact, is what it feels like, and it's misty here at the beginning of July. It's just kind of crazy. Anyways, I'm going to be finishing the wooden structure today, and to start, we're going to do the deck. Nothing special, throwing up all the deck boards, spacing them out evenly, and screwing them on. Now I need to add my diagonal braces, and I'm going to add some vertical support in the middle of this 12-foot section. Hey, the sun is back out for a while. So I've got a design by the fly moment, and another great example of why it's excellent to consult with others on things. In this case, my wife. Because she thinks of things that I otherwise wouldn't have. I'm going to build a quick and dirty ladder here, just 2x4s, easy. 2 feet wide. And then we'll fence in the rest of this, railing in the rest of this side. So we got some opening to get in, and then a safe closure. Then I'm going to build the rock climbing wall. That's 4 feet wide. Put it around the corner there, and we'll be able to close in more things as we go. It'll make sense as we get going, but thanks, Bridget, you're so smart. Welcome to the top of the deck. It's pretty exciting to be at this point. The last wooden structure that we need to build now is the tower, for lack of better words. I've got the end of the 10-foot posts up here giving me just shy of 4 feet to work with. It's about 3 feet here. So, equidistant from this point, from the middle of this opening, I'm going to put some risers out of 2x4s to make 2 sections level with this. Put a 6-foot bar across each of those, effectively mending the front and back together. And then in the middle point, we're going to have some higher posts that go up to a middle point section, and a bar, a 6-foot bar again that mends them going across the top. When we take these tarps, one moment, I've got 2 green tarps like this. They're effectively going to go in the middle and drape down on either side to create a triangle. They're just over 3 feet wide, each of them. So that'll fully cover this 6-foot space. And in fact, the back is a ½ an inch taller than the front. So it's even going to have a little bit of a slope for front drainage. It's great. At least it's great in concept. And it was exactly the amount of lumber I had. So that's what I'm going with. Let's see how it turns out. So there are going to be metal fasteners. Once I'm done with this wood stuff and I spray it, I'm going to come back and do some actual metal corner brackets in places like this where there are weak joints. Like, you never take a screw into the end of a 2x4. That straw-like, finger-like grain is not going to hold after enough moisture. So instead, this is just a temporary hold, and then we'll come back with the appropriate fasteners here, here, and a few other places. Because I'm sure somebody watching this has thought that already, and they're going to leave a nasty comment down below. So I thought of it too. And now for the final day of this build. Today I'm putting on all the accessories. I'm putting on the roof and the rock climbs and the slide and the rest of the swings, all that good stuff. I am really proud of this build. I feel this sense of fatherly joy knowing that I made something for my kids that will be here for a long, long time. We've got 2 kids now. We want another 1 or 2. Yeah, my wife is gonna chuckle when she watches this video. Anyways, more kids are in the future. That means this should get a solid 15 years or so of use, and I built it strong so that it would last long. And I know I'll probably spray it, you know, once or twice more to give it a fresh coat and protection in its lifetime. But it's built of mostly treated material because treated material was the cheapest material because wood prices are ridiculous still. And this is phase 1, you know, as I've alluded to, phase 2 could be framing in the bottom and building in like a little playhouse, you know, with a sliding door and a window and some ledges for your tea sets and things. Who knows, that could be phase 2. If we get some property behind us, another phase could be, you know, taking off that transverse bar up there where the swings are hanging from and building a proper walkway that's properly anchored into the tree with some fancy things around it there. I've got all these grandiose ideas. None of it could happen for all I know, and we've still got a fantastic playset. So lots of pride and joy. Again, I'm super thrilled that much of the accessories I was able to source secondhand through the Facebook Marketplace or Habitat Restore, and what I didn't, I got fresh from Fleet Farm. That was a lot of great inspiration. Thank you so much, Fleet Farm, for sponsoring this and for inspiring me. You know, when I was going in store, looking at what they had, you know, in there so I could conceptualize and touch and feel, and then of course going online, looking at the playsets they had available, getting design ideas. It was a great process. So if you're in the mood for or market for a playset like this, and you're going to design it yourself, check out Fleet Farm, see what they have in store. But if you don't have the time and you don't want to do it yourself, check out what they've got for pre-made playsets. They're very, very affordable and super fun, right? Quick side note, this little green turtle underneath here, that's my sandbox from when I was a little kid 30 years ago. I love that it's in pristine shape and still functioning, and my daughter loves to play in the sand. So have you built a playset for your kids or grandkids or community before? What does yours look like? This is pretty sizable at 5 feet tall for the base, 12 by 6, plus another 12 feet just for the 3 swings. And the canopy up there gets to about 8 feet tall, so 8 plus 5, 13 feet tall at the peak. It's a lot bigger than I was expecting it was going to be, but it fits our space, and I love it. Let me know what you've built in the comments below. If you like this, you know what to do. And thank you so much, Fleet Farm, for sponsoring this project. Until next time, guys, bye.